Okay, so anyone who's interested in how AI might shake up the freelance software world, listen up. We're diving into a paper all about this new benchmark. It's called SWE-Lancer.
Catch your name right.
Yeah, definitely grabs your attention.
And the concept's even more interesting. They took, get this, like $1 million worth of real freelance coding gigs.
Whoa, for real.
Yep. And then they had AI try to tackle them, the whole shebang, bug fixes, new features, you name it.
So like instead of some theoretical test, it's like, could AI actually do the work people are getting paid for out there?
That's the question. And they even went a step further. They had AI play the role of like a tech lead.
Okay, now that's getting meta.
Right.
Yeah.
Choosing between different solutions, just like in a real dev team. So we'll break down how they set this whole thing up, how the AI performed.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, not quite Hollywood level AI takeover just yet.
I was going to say, the robots aren't stealing all our jobs yet.
Exactly. And then the big question, what does this all mean for anyone out there coding for a living?
All right, so set the scene for us. What's SWE-Lancer all about?
So picture this. Instead of these made-up coding puzzles you see in like textbooks or online challenges.
Right, kind of sterile, not the real deal.
Exactly. They went to Upwork, that's a huge platform for freelancers, and they got real jobs, the kind people bid on, get paid for, the whole 9 yards.
Makes it way more relevant, right? Like, could AI actually compete in that market?
That's the point. And the tasks themselves, super diverse.
Like, what kind of stuff are we talking?
Everything. Quick bug fixes, sure, but also more involved features could take weeks to complete, even full stack stuff, meaning front end, what the user sees.
Yeah.
And the back end logic making it all work, they use the code base of Expensify. It's a pretty popular expense app.
So using a real world code base, that's got to be crucial.
Totally. You can't judge AI's economic viability if it's not dealing with the same mess we deal with every day.
The real world spaghetti code and all that?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And to make sure the AI wasn't just, taking shortcuts that wouldn't fly in a real job.
Cheating the system.
Basically, yeah, they had expert engineers design these end-to-end tests, super rigorous, had to solve the problem properly, no loopholes.
Clever. Okay, so they got real jobs, a real code base, tough tests. What kind of AI did they throw at this thing?
Oh, the big guns, cutting-edge stuff, but even the top performer, this one called Claude 3.5 Sonnet.
Okay.
It only cracked about 26% of the coding tasks.
26%. That's honestly less than I expected.
Right. And in terms of earnings, a little over 400 grand out of the possible million.
So not replacing human freelancers just yet then, huh?
Yeah.
What were the, categories of tasks?
So two main types. One they called individual contributor, or IC. That's your straight up solving a coding problem.
Okay, makes sense.
The other one, this is interesting, SWE manager tasks.
Like management AI.
Yeah. They gave it several solutions for the same problem, had to pick the best one, like a tech lead would in a team.
Oh, that is cool. So not just writing code, but understanding the problem-making decisions.
Exactly. And get this, the AI actually did better on those manager tasks.
No way.
Yeah. While most of the coding was a struggle, Best Model hit about 45% success rate on these manager tasks.
Wow, so maybe AI is better at being the boss than the worker bee right now, at least for coding.
Maybe. But it does show you the different skills involved, right? Writing code, that's detail-oriented, syntax, debugging.
Right, very specific.
Whereas management's more about evaluating big picture stuff.
Interesting.
And the paper had some fascinating observations about how the AI approached all this.
Yeah, like what?
So it was great at finding relevant files, code sections, really fast.
Okay, good at searching, but then what?
But then the big picture, understanding the why, the root cause of a problem, that's where it tripped up.
Could find all the ingredients but didn't know how to make the dish.
Perfect analogy. It often built partial solutions or ones that were just flawed because it missed that deeper understanding.
I see. So it's not just about following instructions, but following intent.
Exactly. And speaking of intent, there's this other wild aspect of the benchmark we got to talk about. They gave the AI what they called a user tool.
Okay, user tool. Now I'm intrigued. What's that all about?
Buckle up. This user tool thing, it's like a window into how AI is actually trying to solve problems, but in a more realistic way,
I gotta admit, my curiosity is piqued. It sounds like it's more than just like a debugger or something.
Oh, way more. It's like they tried to mimic the whole back and forth process we go through as developers.
You mean like the write some code, test it, break it, fix it, repeat kind of deal?
Exactly. Like imagine you write code, then you run it, see it in action, but then you tweak it based on what you just saw.
Right. Constant tweaking, testing, refining till it's just right.
And that's what this user tool let the AI do. Experiment with different code changes, see how it plays out in a simulated app, and then use that feedback to course correct.
So it's not just spitting out code, it's got to understand how it works in the real world, how a user would actually experience it.
You got it. And here's where the human AI difference gets really stark, right? We humans, we kind of get how software is supposed to work.
Right, we have that user intuition.
Exactly. We can anticipate problems, come up with solutions that are, elegant, user-friendly, all that.
Whereas AI still got to learn all that through trial and error, seeing what works, what doesn't.
And watching that learning process, man, it's fascinating. Some of these models, especially the more advanced ones, they started showing signs of that iterative debugging we were talking about.
So they were using the feedback from the user tool to actually, improve your code over time.
You bet. It's like they were starting to get a sense of almost like intuition, right? How their code affects the user, how to tweak it to make it better. Yep, a big step forward. It shows AI is not just some mindless code generator. It can learn, adapt, use feedback. That's huge.
But you said not all models were equally good with this user tool, right? What tripped them up?
It seems like the big hurdle was understanding the feedback itself. Some models, they just couldn't make sense of what they were seeing in the simulation.
Like the visual changes, the way the app was behaving, they couldn't connect that back to their code.
Exactly. Or they couldn't figure out how to change their code to get the result they wanted.
So it's not enough to just have access to information. Got to be able to process it, use it.
That's the key. And that's kind of the limit of AI right now. It can write amazing code, but that deeper understanding of context, interpreting feedback, adapting, that's where we humans still have the edge.
I see. So this user tool, it's not just about testing. It's revealing a lot about how AI learns, solves problems.
Totally. And it makes SWE-Lancer way more realistic, right? It's not just can AI write code, but can it write code that actually works in the real world?
Makes sense. So where do we go from here? What does all this mean for the future of like freelance software work?
Well, the benchmark results, they paint a kind of complex picture. On one hand, AI is not replacing us anytime soon, especially for tasks needing, deep understanding, thinking outside the box.
Right, those tricky edge cases where experience really matters.
Yes. But on the other hand, we are seeing that potential. AI learning, adapting, figuring out user needs, refining itself.
And that's where it gets exciting, right?
Totally. I think the future is not about AI versus humans. It's AI and humans.
Working together, like each playing to their strengths.
Exactly. Like, what if AI could handle all the tedious stuff? Boilerplate code, optimization, even spotting potential bugs.
That'd free us up to focus on the big picture, the design, the really creative problem-solving stuff.
It's about augmenting our skills, not replacing us.
Like a force multiplier for human ingenuity.
I like that. So instead of worrying about AI taking over, we got to figure out how to use it to be even more creative, solve even bigger problems.
Absolutely, and that's where the real payoff is. If we use AI right, we could make software development way more efficient, innovative, more impactful overall.
Imagine software that just seamlessly integrates with our lives, solves complex problems, helps us new things we never thought possible.
That's a future worth working towards, don't you think? Definitely. And it sounds like this SWE-Lancer research is a big step in that direction. It's not just about measuring how well AI codes. It's about understanding how it learns, how it interacts with the real world, how we can make it part of our process to make us even better.
And as AI keeps evolving, we'll see even more sophisticated tools, blurring the lines between what humans and machines can do.
It's a journey, for sure. One that needs collaboration, lots of new ideas, and honestly, a bit of bravery to embrace the unknown.
But the potential is huge, and I'm definitely excited to see what happens next.
Yeah, it's a wild time to be in software, that's for sure. But there's this other thing from the SWE-Lancer research that really stuck with me. The whole idea of a difficulty gradient when it comes to coding tasks.
Ah, yeah, that's crucial. When you're thinking about the economic side of things, what's cool about SWE-Lancer is they actually used the real money payouts from Upwork as like a measure of how hard a task was.
So basically, the market itself is telling us which coding challenges are the real brain busters, huh? So which ones were racking up those big bucks?
Turns out the tasks with the highest payouts, those often involve like really complex integrations, tricky business logic, or navigating those super specific edge cases,
The stuff that goes beyond just like writing code that compiles, right?
Right.
You got to understand the whole system, the business needs, all the potential pitfalls.
Exactly. That kind of deep knowledge, it usually comes from years of experience, working on all sorts of different projects, getting your hands dirty with real world problems.
Stuff that's hard to just like teach an AI in a lab.
For sure. It makes you think, if the most lucrative tasks are also the ones needing the most human ingenuity, does that mean AI is going to be stuck with the like low-paying grunt work?
Yeah, the repetitive stuff, the things that don't pay as well.
It's possible, but I think AI can actually boost our capabilities at every level, even those super complex tasks. Imagine tools that could whip up boilerplate code in a flash, suggest optimized algorithms, or even point out security flaws as you're coding.
So we can focus on the big picture stuff, the design, the really creative solutions that bring in the big bucks.
Yeah. Exactly. AI amplifying our strengths, not replacing us.
Working together, like a true dynamic duo.
I like that analogy. So instead of worrying about the robot takeover, we got to figure out how to use AI to unlock new levels of creativity, solve even bigger problems.
Yeah, become like coding superheroes.
Haha, exactly. And if we can harness AI the right way, I think we can make software development way more efficient, innovative, and ultimately have a bigger impact on the world.
A world where software just works, seamlessly integrated with our lives, solves complex problems, helps us achieve more than we ever thought possible.
Now that's a future worth striving for, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Well, folks, that's our deep dive into SWE-Lancer and the future of freelance software engineering with AI. We've covered a lot today, from the nitty-gritty technical details to the big picture impact on the future of software development.
Keep exploring this stuff, stay curious, and let's have those tough conversations about how we shape the future of AI in a way that benefits everyone.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Until next time, keep coding, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI. This is The Deep Dive. Signing off.